Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking MotoGP with myself, Rod Portman, and Donovan Ferry. We're going to talk everything from the Le Mans MotoGP race. And Don, start off, what the hell happened with Carl Abraham and Joan Mir at the start of the race?
We only saw from Zarco's bike, we saw that 360 thing. They got it from the start, they went down on the warm-up lap, there's that sort of turn 1/turn 2, it's all confusing, which is basically a flat-out right-hander. They're then into a left-hand hairpin, and it looks like old Abraham just pulled brakes, front end somehow, kind of as he was turning in, front end locked up. Joan Mir sort of crapped himself. He sort of crapped himself, pulled the brakes. And what I do think though is you look at the brakes they have on those machines. I mean, we're used to brakes. I mean, you little thing here, you pull it and stoppage happens. You know what I mean? Whereas they run those carbon brakes. The thing about the carbon brakes, they've got to be at something like 600 degrees Celsius before anything happens.
Yeah, before they work.
We saw it early on in the year. Miguel Oliveira was trying to get used to it.
Yes.
And he was going slowly, and he pulled the brake, and nothing happened. So it's got compression and all that, but nothing happens until the brakes warms up, and then suddenly
you've got the sharpest brakes in the world.
Yeah, you've got the sharpest brakes in the world. So maybe it had something to do with that. I don't think he touched the brakes yet here. They just pulled off on the warm-up lap. I'm sure those brakes were pretty cold. Nice fast corner. You're suddenly, there's a whole lot of bikes. I mean, you had Zarco on the outside, and then suddenly you're just like, oh.
Cheers. It was just so weird. I mean, it's the first time we've seen anyone crash on a warm-up lap in a long time. Both riders kind of ended their race. Joan Mir picked up and finished 16th, a lap behind or whatever. But anyway, moving on, I'm going to talk about someone who I just cannot wrap my head around.
His favorite rider right now.
Maverick Vinales. So he climbs into Le Mans, which is notoriously a good track for Vinales, good track for Yamaha. Destroys everyone in practice. Wet, dry, any conditions destroys everyone. Comes into qualifying, qualifies 11th, comes into the race, dicing for 13th place with a rookie Bagnaia. Then gets taken out and the commentators say, oh, shame, but he got taken out. There's no shame. He should not be dicing for 13th place on a factory Yamaha.
Two things. Vinales is world champion at testing and practice.
No, he's won the championship already.
He's won the championship. But you look at him, I mean, you're right, though. When it's not actually a contested event, like when it's either testing or practice, he's fast. As soon as his lights on, lights off,
as soon as the pressure's on, I mean, he's quickly becoming the fourth best Yamaha rider. He's behind Morbidelli, he's behind Quartararo, and he's behind Rossi.
He is fourth best. And the other thing we kind of notice, and this is where, hey, a bit of mafia going on here. The second time he's been taken out by a VR46 Academy rider.
I'm sure they got bonuses. And I think Bagnaia is sitting there in 13th going, well, I'm not going to finish top 5 or anything. I'll get an extra 10,000 euro from the boss if I take Vinales out. So that's what he did.
Or Don Rossi.
But I just don't know. I mean, Vinales, surely he cannot be on that factory bike for much longer.
Yeah, I kind of wonder. I mean,
especially with Quartararo and Morbidelli doing what they're doing. Could those two potentially be, with Rossi retiring, or those two the next factory riders in the Yamaha team?
Shall we get on to Quartararo while we're actually there?
Look, there was another little thing with Quartararo. I had him down as second overall. He dominated.
Whoa, no. Okay, he and his friends.
Super Brew.
They do Super Brew.
Which I hate.
Is this thing, I don't know, you kind of go with all your buddies and you kind of predict what it's going to be. And
our cameraman's higher than me.
Yeah, cameraman's actually currently higher than him. Don't know why. Well, we should be on that side. Just have him sit here. But here's the thing, and they take it really seriously, and they pore over the results and they try and predict it. And Quartararo did you a lot of favors.
I had him in second. Again, fastest in free practice, not bad in the wet or whatever. But then the man wakes up with 5 laps to go. Look, at least he got into the top 10. At one stage he was 13th. But let's just say it. I mean, what a start to his MotoGP career. This kid is fast, and the commentator still said once everything lines up for him, once he just gets everything in line and that, surely he's going to be the only contender, really, to Marquez.
Well, I just kind of wonder what exactly happened in this race.
I mean, started off and I was like, he's going to come, he's going to come.
He qualified 10th, and by the end of the first lap, he was 15th.
No, I don't know what happened.
And he just sort of hung around there for most of the race, and then suddenly at the end, he just started.
He
was doing the fastest lap of the race. If I remember correctly.
The last 5 laps, or the last 7 or 8 laps, he was faster than Marquez.
He was, yeah.
And I mean, he put the fastest lap of the race at 38.4 or something, because I had him down as the fastest lap, so I got that at least on my Super Brew. But I mean, with 6 laps to go. And he looks so smooth. Did you see how he made easy work of Lorenzo, a 4-time MotoGP, 3-time MotoGP world champion, and Carl Crutchlow on a factory Honda?
Yes.
He breezed past those guys. I mean, that kid is super, super fast. And when all the stars align, He's going to be the Marquez title. He's going to be the challenger to Marquez.
Well, he's going to be the next Vinales.
Oh, she's don't even mention. I don't want to even mention that name
I
anymore.
want to talk about someone now, and okay. I think you and I we can't like not talk about this. He put on the most
spectacular
show, the most astounding display. I mean, he went over and above the capabilities of his machine, and just the amount of class he showed, skill, talent, it's just unfathomable. And I think you know exactly who we're going to mention.
Not bike number 93.
Pol Espargaro, 6th place on that KTM. Now, okay, hang on, wait. I'm going to put this into perspective. Now, a lot of you are going to say, yeah, but Marquez, shh.
Yeah, quiet, please.
Pol Espargaro, on that KTM, finished 6th. He was 5.9 seconds behind Marquez. The next KTM, his teammate, Zarco, 13th place, 33 seconds. He was more than 27 seconds ahead, or slightly less than 27 seconds ahead of his teammates. And then behind that was Siren and then Oliveira. So the KTMs took the last 3 places on track, more than half a minute behind the leader, and he was up in...
It was astounding. He qualified, and people forget this, he qualified 12th. So it's not like he started on the second row and just stayed there. He qualified 12th. On that first lap, he was challenging Rossi.
He was trying to overtake Rossi.
I've never heard this screaming kind of KTM this close to me before.
Rossi must have been like, what's that orange? What? He said, have I got a street cone? What is
Espargaro, he crashed in, I think, every single free play. He looked a little bit ragged to me.
A lot.
So I didn't put him, even in my top 10. And with every passing lap, I was like, no, this guy's pushing way too hard.
This guy's pushing hard. Okay, he's up there, but don't worry. They're going to come past. We all know he's going to be 12th in a minute. And it just never happened.
No, listen, that was a sublime ride. And I saw in the practices in that and in the race that he ran a new carbon fiber swing arm.
Yes.
Which gave him obviously the whole point of a carbon fiber swing arm is to give the bike a bit more stability, make it more solid, which I didn't think was KTM's problem with the trellis frame. I thought they maybe wanted a little bit more like kind of looseness and the bike to be a bit more free. Zarco is still completely battling with the KTM. But what Espargaro did, and he went on in a press release to say, their result from Le Mans proved that these guys ahead of them, the Ducatis and the Hondas, aren't gods.
Yes.
And that KTM aren't too far behind with their trellis frame, with the WP suspension.
I read an interesting thing. A friend of mine put this up. He's clever. I don't know... when you meet
Unlike
him, when you meet him, you wouldn't say he's clever, but he is. And he was talking about the difference between the aluminium chassis and the steel ones.
The trellis.
And he was saying the thing is, it's not so much how they flex, because they talk about it's the amount of flex and where it flexes. And he was saying it doesn't matter. They can make them both flex the same. It's the frequency at which they flex. So how quickly they flex out of shape,
and how quickly it comes back.
The aluminium flexes quickly, comes back quickly. The steel flex slowly, come back slowly.
So it takes time to sort itself out.
That they cannot change.
Yeah, you can't change it.
So you can put as many different steel bars. So which one is actually better?
Look, Espargaro, his riding style suits that KTM, and this makes me wonder. I would love just for an exercise to put a guy like Marquez on that KTM, because I think he could probably make it work. If Espargaro is doing that...
It's a similar kind of riding. It's brake really late, run hard into the corner, stand the thing up and accelerate.
Yeah, that's where Zarco's battling with braking early, letting go. Like Lorenzo would absolutely hate a KTM. He would hate a KTM. Well, let's talk about Lorenzo quickly. Again, 11th place. Seemed to have a decent weekend, but this is what's kind of getting to me now. Again, I watched what you mentioned with his riding style, where he breaks upright, old school 500.
Right? He looks it.
You were 100% right. But it looks like he's got to the point where I don't even think he knows. He's now put the standard seat back on and he's saying that's better, but still not comfortable. I'm now thinking, does Lorenzo now just call it quits and Rins and Lorenzo swap places? I think Lorenzo on a Suzuki,
kind of fun.
Lorenzo on a Suzuki, the main man in a team. But I just look at Lorenzo as well. At his finest years when he was winning MotoGP titles, on his Instagram, there were pictures of him in the gym looking slim, running, and now... I'm not saying he looks unfit to me, but he just looks demotivated. He looks like, we saw him run. He's a broken man. I just think he's just a broken man.
I will give him some credit. He is further up. He's getting closer to, he's showing improvement.
15 seconds in 11th, yeah.
What they were saying, the thing is about the Honda, and I'm actually going to ask your opinion. Marquez for a second, right? They keep saying that it's Marquez's genius that is making the Honda fast. And you kind of look at it and go, all right, Marquez is in first place. The next Honda was Crutchlow in 9th, almost 10 seconds, and then Lorenzo 15 seconds. And those are all on the same bike as him. I got to ask this. Okay, so the way to ride the Honda is it's a small, very compact bike, and you've got to ride it by braking very, very late, very, very hard, and you've got to press it, and you've got to muscle the bike around, which is exactly what Marquez's style of riding. So my question is it Marquez's genius that's making the Honda look good, or did they actually build the Honda for Marquez?
I think they built the Honda for Marquez. You said it. Marquez came from a short-circuit racing background, where it's his tight hairpins, and you brake late, square it off, and get it out. So I think it's Honda have put all their eggs in one basket, which is Marquez. That's why the likes of Crutchlow sometimes get it right, but Lorenzo is struggling a bit, because that bike cannot be easy to ride. It's the same as like his World Superbikes. If you take Bautista and the V4 out of World Superbikes, Ray would have won 12 out of 13 races, and there wouldn't be this hype about a V4R. You take Marquez and Honda out, they wouldn't have won a world title in the last 5 years. They wouldn't have finished top 3 in a world title in the last 5 years. So yes, Marquez is the one making it work for now. And the scary thing is, I saw a press release as well saying he's not having to risk as much because he's got a faster engine now.
But I was listening to the commentators, and I mean, sometimes I kind of go, come on, fellas. When it's one of the Ducatis going fast down the straight, it's look at that when it's Dovizioso.
Yeah, they kind of.
Look at that Ducati power. Look at that Ducati power. Marquez goes fast down the straight. He pulls away from the others. Look at Marquez, the way he gets drive on that bike. I'm just kind of like, oh, shut up. The thing's making more power.
Marquez was, on average, every lap, 0.2 faster in that final sector. And let me tell you, when we saw on boards, even with Miller, that Honda shot out of that final turn. It's a first gear, tight turn that you come low RPM and you stand it up and you drive out of there. There is nothing wrong with that Honda. Whatever problems Honda have had in the future with speed are now gone. Going into Mugello...
look, okay, first of all, Rossi is stuffed. And I know everyone's thinking Rossi at his home Mugello and all the Rossi fans. No, he is stuffed.
No, he's on no chance a banana in a gunfight. No.
In this race here, Le Mans, there's not many straights there. Okay, it's not much for the way of straights. He had the slowest top speed. Not kind of Yamaha in total. He was the slowest bike.
He was slower than Carl Abraham.
Listen to me carefully. He was 10 kilometers an hour slower than the fastest Ducati.
That's a lifetime.
And right behind him was the fastest Honda. And the Hondas and Ducatis are very similar. 10 kilometers per hour. He's going to be like, okay, 10 kilometers per hour is more than the difference between Bautista and Ray. And you know how much Ray is whining. And you know how much Ray is whining.
That's the big difference.
And Rossi said that, okay, their problem is their bike's good. And you saw it again. He got better at the end of the race.
The race pace is good, yeah.
And at the end of the race, he was better, which is what they've been battling with all the time. And that's fantastic. And he kept saying, well, the problem is I can't get close enough to those bikes to get past them. And I know, of course, people, Rossi making excuses. But I'm sorry, look at the.
Well, you saw the onboard with Petrucci. They drove out, and the Yamaha actually pulled a little slight gap initially on acceleration, held it second, third, fourth gear. As soon as fourth gear, Petrucci almost hit him, had to take avoiding action.
So
going into Mugello.
Mugello's got the longest straight, the highest top speed of any track. He's stuffed.
Well, look, he's not going to be able to compete with the Ducati.
Well, mind you, then again, at Kota also had the long straight. And
he wasn't. He nearly won it, but I mean, you never know. MotoGP just can't predict.
Can I make a very quick mention? Petrucci, something interesting. No, okay. Well, all right. He hasn't had the greatest time. He finally managed to beat Miller. Well done. But what I will say, something interesting is the whole of last year he struggled with rear tyre.
Yes.
Michelin said his tyre was 20% hotter than Dovizioso.
Because, he's 20% heavier, let's say.
He's a lot heavier and he's a lot more aggressive in the way. So 20. And he always struggled, especially into the race. The rear tyre just cooked itself and he had nothing. Look at this race. He managed to come through and it looked like it was going to be a Miller-Dovizioso party. Petrucci was good in the beginning, then went backwards and we all kind of said, well, there we go. Off he goes and, have fun at World Superbike next year. And, but then at the end of the race, he just made a comeback. He came back past everybody and he was with Dovi. He nearly got second. So I think in that Works team they're doing something. Because remember, he was on the Pramac, but also a factory bike and he was struggling. It seems that the Works team has actually done something.
Well, look, those Works Ducatis are the bikes to be on now. I mean, Dovi, Petrucci, Miller was very impressive and people said, he was the only one to hold a candle to Marquez. People forget that Miller's got nothing to lose. Marquez let him go to the front and said, you can have your fun there for a couple of laps and then I'm going to breeze past you. Marquez had everything under control. But that Ducati is the best package to be on now. And I would love to see Rossi on that Ducati now compared to, I would love to. I mean, what a turn up for the books if Rossi all of a sudden signed for Ducati and gave it one more go.
I don't see
Please,
it.
that would be... No, it's not going to happen, but I mean, that's what I would love to see.
What I would see, okay, next year, there were also talks about Honda, Saki Lorenzo end of this year. He denied it, frankly. I don't think Honda will do that.
No, I don't think that... They're not going to replace him with anyone else. We pretty much know that the grid for next year is as it is, barring one or two of the back guys.
What I do think... okay, if Petrucci keeps it up as it is, I think they're going to stay as they are now.
Yep.
Dovi, Petrucci on the works team, Miller on the factory bike.
Yep.
If Petrucci doesn't keep it up, I'd say next year, Dovi, Miller on the works bikes, and Petrucci will either go back to Pramac or he's going to, or Ray's going to finish third. You know? Yeah, we were talking about Vinales. He's also on a 2-year contract. They won't can him there, but I just think after that, if he doesn't get his act in again, especially with young Quartararo.
Listen, I was so impressed with Quattraro. Morbidelli, take nothing away from Morbidelli there in 7th place, 7.1 seconds behind. And it just shows you what a difference having that factory support is. I mean, it's benefiting everyone. Those Petronas bikes, it's a brand new team, people forget. And they're finishing consistently in the top 10 in races, consistently in the top 5 in qualifying.
And Rossi actually said it. He said the fact is that the two satellite bikes are on the same bike that he's riding, whereas previously it was not the same. They rode the bikes from the year before. And he says the difference that makes, because you got double the amount of data, you can look down and see double the amount of what they were working with before, because the Hondas have Crutchlow, so it's another bike, so you've got another kind of perspective. The Ducatis have the Pramac bike now, of Miller. Also, it helps.
It does,
you've got another bike, you've got more data to look at, and you get through a lot more stuff. So I think that is one of the major reasons why Yamaha is doing much better this year.
Yamaha have improved. It's just Vinales has gone backwards.
And Yamaha aren't going to fix their top end. You're not allowed to change engines that year.
So
once you've chosen an engine, so that's it. They're going to have top end woes for the rest of the season. Maybe they were talking about a little bit like wings. You could do wings, get a bit of drive.
But aerodynamics,
but it's small.
Oh, that's going to be 2-3 k's an hour maximum.
Yeah.
Okay, so going into Mugello now, one of the greatest races in the world. Top 5 prediction. I know you're not on Super Brew.
Okay, I'm not on Super Brew. And last time I said I want Quartararo to win because I want to see France fall into the ocean. Luckily for the nation,
still around.
Luckily for the nation of France, Quartararo didn't win, and so they get to keep their country.
Right, so top 5, Mugello.
Okay, you know what I'm going to say, and just for the fun of it. Okay, Marquez is going to win. It's stuff,
okay,
you know, but he is. But I'm going to say Dovi wins. Just because I'm not on Super Brew and I'm not getting any points for this, I want Dovi to win.
Okay. And I heard an interesting fact after, Dovi has got 41 points more at this stage in the season than he had last year, and 29 points more than the previous year. And I said it in the last show, Dovi, can't count him out because the tracks where they suffered, he's picked up good points. So now we're going into a Ducati track kind of run.
So far we're seeing a carbon copy of last year.
But with Dovi a little bit closer.
With Dovi a little bit closer, but in terms of Marquez winning, he did the same thing last year. So to say,
Dovi has to win at Mugello.
I say Dovi win because then Italy will fall into the ocean. Rossi, no, the bike's too slow.
Top 5 at best.
I mean, even if he leads going onto the pit straight, he's going to have 7 bikes overtaken before he even
including
gets to the
KTM of Paul Espargaro.
So second, I'm going to put, Dovi win. Second, I'm going to put Marquez. Third, just for fun, I'm going to say Miller. This is not going to happen. I'm completely wrong.
I don't think you're too far. I don't think you're too far off.
So, yeah. Fourth, Rossi. I'm going to say Rossi. Rossi's going to...
Fourth, top 5, I would put him in.
He's going to have a slow bike. He'll be quick in the corners, but he's going to get nailed down the straight. So I'm going to say fourth for Rossi. Fifth.
Don't say Vinales because you'll be horribly wrong.
No, I'm not going to say... Come on, I'm not
Who's
stupid.
he?
Fifth.
Petrucci, got to be.
Yeah, okay, Petrucci, yeah. Petrucci,
and the Suzukis, I think, will also maybe battle a bit with
Rins
because of the speed factor.
Maybe, but they'll be up there. I'm going to be completely wrong. That is completely wrong. It's the wrong.
Okay, so let
result,
me go.
That is what I want because that'll just spice up the championship Italy's going to fall into the championship, fall into the ocean, and then we'll have a bigger Mediterranean.
Right, I'm going to go Marquez, Dovi, Crutchlow, Miller, Petrucci.
Crutchlow.
Because the Hondas are fast now.
Yeah.
If he stays up, of course.
I was going to say.
That's the big question mark with Crutchlow. Okay, before we finish up and wrap up, let's talk Moto2. Brad Binder, 4th place again.
Yeah.
I saw you put your release up on the bike show, just saying that every single lap he had a moment on the rear tire. So
no.
they've kind of
He didn't
sorted
say,
out.
hang on, he didn't say every lap. He said every time I opened the throttle, I had a moment.
I had a moment. So they've sorted out with the new parts that they flew in the Thursday before the race. They've sorted
they
out a
got
little bit of
new
front end
chassis.
chatter.
They got some, yeah.
So they've sorted out front end chatter.
Yes.
But still no grip at the rear.
Well, you just see, he still looks like that back wheel isn't bolted on properly. I mean, all the other bikes, those Kalexes are solid.
Stable.
But you see, and then just, lots of solid Kalexes, and in the background there is the KTM sideways like this, completely out of shape.
And I mean, he was miles ahead, something like 10 seconds ahead of the next KTM. So Brad is just really over on that. But look, at least KTM look like they're trying to do something
They've
now.
got a test coming up next week in Barcelona. That's Catalonia, where they're going to try a whole lot of cool stuff.
Let's hope it's sunny and it's hot track conditions, because that's where they need to test. It's pointless testing in cool conditions, and Brad's faster than anyone.
Do you know what I think? Mugello, lots of really nice kind of sweepy corners.
I think Mugello's a good track for Brad.
Yeah, lots of nice sweepy corners, and I think it'll work for them because you don't need as much rear wheel grip.
Yes.
So that might help, and he's going to be really ridiculously late on the brakes at the end of that straight.
Binder. Unfortunately, Darren Binder crashing out. I don't know if you saw on his Facebook page.
Did you see his fingers?
I'm not going to even put a picture of those up because
he had two fingers pointing in the wrong direction.
Parental guidance is advised. No, that was gross. So let's wish him all the best. Stephen Undal also crashing. I hope that he's fine. Wish them the best. Hopefully we can see them out at Mugello. But thanks for watching. Heading into Mugello, it's going to be fantastic. Do not miss Mugello. Get down to Ridgeway Race Bar. Get down to the Rossi Bar and make sure you watch it with the rest of us passionate fans, because it's one you do not want to miss. Ridgeway Race Bar as well, from the 2nd of June, are giving away a brand new Yamaha R1 along with a Rossi helmet. So all the details will be in the June issue of Ride Fast. Otherwise, get down to Ridgeway Race Bar from the 2nd of June and win a brand new Yamaha R1. They've already given away a brand new CBR 1000. They've already given away a Triumph 765. Brand new Yamaha R1. That's going to be fantastic. Get down to Ridgeway Race Bar. I think you've got to spend 350 Rand or more and you get those entries in. But until next time, we'll catch you after Mugello.